All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining our weekly webinar. Today is Friday and we will be discussing the wireless products of the alarm side. So we've got quite additional things. I can honestly say there's a lot more that's coming down the pipeline, like I always do. So for those of you that joined in yesterday, that received the sneak peeks, yes, there's for those of you that missed out, there was some heavy info there that hasn't been announced, hasn't been released, and unfortunately, you guys that were not there missed out. So yes, it will be uploaded on YouTube, and we had some technical issues, but anyway, so there's some sneak peeks in there. We've got one or two small ones now, but I think yesterday was the cherry on the cake. But there's a lot more, and unfortunately, I'm not allowed to say more. I'm not allowed to share more. I am getting into trouble with that. But I would like to tell you guys that it doesn't help you keep on saying what's coming or something, soon. And then it's nice to show a little bit, hey, it's there. It's around the corner. But anyway, all right. So if there's any questions, please just put the questions in the Q&A. After this whole session, we will do the Q&A after the recording. So yeah, let's jump into that itself. Okay. All right. So starting off, obviously, you guys might be familiar with our alarm system. We're going to be discussing the family of that itself on the AX Pro. We're also going to be highlighting a few features, multiple different applications, etc., and the solutions and stuff like that. So yes, Heat Pro, and I've got my Heat Pro golf shirt on. I like being comfortable at work. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you guys with the why and where. I'm sure you guys can imagine it's a beautiful, sexy design alarm system. We do have more models and more features and things coming soon. So yeah, like I mentioned, yeah. So obviously we're trying to save costs. You don't want to go and do multiple cable runs and stuff like that. That is where this will come into play. So how does it work? Very straightforward. You have a PIR, you have an alarm panel, and it will communicate with that panel and then transmit the siren, makes a noise. Very basic. All right, wireless devices. All right, getting familiar with the family. It's quite a big family. There's a lot more products, like I said. Sure, a lot of you are familiar with this section itself, but let's jump into that product. So first of all, we'll be discussing the normal sensors itself. You have normal PIRs, you have curtain passives, you have dual detector, you have 360 eyes, pet-friendly eyes, glass break detector inside the PIR. Makes it a little bit easier. So for each and every scenario, you have some sort of solution for it. A lot of the companies that are out there, like I've mentioned in the past, will go and install the same PIR in the lounge, in the kitchen, in the passage, in the dining room, in the study, in the garage. Please stop it. Please check what you are doing. Please put the correct products into the correct environment. Not just ours, general use of PIRs over all products get installed incorrectly. It's nothing to do with the product itself. It's got to do with the installers. So if you have a certain PIR, make sure you have the correct PIR for that environment. You don't want the client to phone you 3 months down the line and say, hey, my alarm was on and they broke into my house and they took my TV because you installed the wrong sensor and you've installed it in the wrong location. So this is very importantly. If you need those courses, we do offer them. All right. So moving along on the PIR side, we have door contacts. You have the normal general door contact. You have those sexy slim ones, which are those ones. I'm looking at the monitor here by me. I've actually got a big interactive monitor that I'm using to play around with for educational side. But anyway, moving along, there's multiple different mag locks, shock locks, etc. So especially for safes, that's very important. So that will help you a lot. Then we have the normal relay transmitters, the wall switches, the smart plug, the input transmitter. The input transmitter is nice because you can take any third-party outdoor detector or any other product and connect up the wires and provide power itself, and it will transmit wirelessly to that device. So for those of you that, how can I say, just normal conversation, if I can put it that way. So it's got batteries. So you connect the wires, so you give power to the device itself from those batteries. So you provide power. And then for the normally closed and alarm connection, you know, those two little areas, the common and the normally closed, you connect that inside that little device, and that will transmit the signal wirelessly to our alarm panel. So even though whatever make it is, we can still make it wireless. Anyway, the relays are nice. The wall switches are nice. So any jacuzzi, which is a good thing, you can connect up to jacuzzi and then from your mobile phone, switch on your jacuzzi while you're sitting in traffic. So when you get there, you just jump in and start drinking. Smart plug, it says they're coming soon. This stuff is already here. So we played around. I've had my first video where I took a Hikvision light, and from my phone, I got to switch it on and off. Perfect product, no headaches, no problems. Different ways of arming as well. So from a keypad to key fob, we have outdoor sirens, indoor sirens, and we'll go through that as well. Outdoor detectors, multiple different models, as well as the cam model. So the cam model is there, and then when we do the operation side, I'll explain again about how to enable that. Then we have smoke detectors, heat detectors. The heat detectors are there to pick up certain heat temperatures in certain environments and alert you that this one has exceeded that temperature. We do have a temperature sensor as well, does the same thing, just two different models itself for different applications. And then we have a CO detector, that's for gas. So those of you that got gas stoves and stuff like that, it's very ideal to put that into your kitchen, because once there's a gas leak, you want to obviously know before you switch on or light up that little stove, because otherwise it goes kaboom, and you don't want that to happen. Then we have a water leak detector. Water leak detector is very straightforward. It's got two functionalities. One is you can throw it into a cupboard, and please do not throw this in your water tray underneath your geyser. Please, for those that think it's a smart idea, it's not. Your geyser is designed for that tray, for when there's too much pressure in your geyser, it will leak out the pressure. So sometimes with that condensation, it's water, and it will drip down, and then that tray will go outside your roof. So that's for in case. It's not an overflow. Your geyser doesn't overflow like that. It is for that pressure itself. So if you want to monitor your geyser leaking, put this underneath the tray. So when it bursts and there's water, it will let you know. So keep that in mind. All right, glass break detector, very straightforward. If you break the glass, we'll let you know. Panic buttons, different models from a normal emergency button, one that you can, you know, hang around your neck itself. The watch type, don't give it to grandma, because it sometimes gets confusing for grandma, but okay, you know, it's there. So moving along, very straightforward. Here's the magic trick. Let's quickly look at the magic trick itself. And there it goes. So up to 210 different products that we can connect up to it. So somebody that asked me, so they just want some clarity on that. So 210. So if your client wants 210 panic buttons, he can load 210 panic buttons. But thereafter, you can't add a key fob, you can't add a keypad. So each one of those wireless devices take a slot, whether it's a keypad, whether it's a panic button, a remote, a door contact, a PIR, a cam PIR, they each take a slot. So it depends on what your client needs. But again, 210, that's a lot. Most of the guys are used to normal alarm systems. We're talking about not back in the days when you had 4 zones and 8 zones. We're talking about 8-zone panels, 16 zones, 32-zone panel, etc., etc. This gives you that capability of having quite a lot of zones for one system. So it's inside that system, which is great. Besides all the normal communication itself from the PIR cams, you know the different frequencies. We'll go through that as well. And then obviously the different ways of connecting, and it has 2 SIM card slots, so which makes it very easy to use. All right, up to 12 hours of backup battery on the device. So especially for load sharing, this is perfect. This does not use a normal 12-volt 7-amp-hour battery, whether it's gel or acid. This uses a lithium-ion battery, very similar to your mobile phone, and it's specially designed for this application. All right, and seeing that we are not physically connecting any wires onto it, it doesn't have a lot of amp draw, so it lasts. So yeah, okay. So next up is, once you take it out of the box, obviously you'll see that on the top section you have little section here. Let's go through that. So you have little light indications. So whether there's network, if there's a trouble condition, etc., etc. And then you also have a little light there to show you that the power is on, and you have a tag reader on it. So you can mount this into certain areas, so you don't have to go and hide it everywhere. So you can use it as a section where you would like to manually arm it or disarm it with a tag, or you can have a tag reader or a keypad that you can use with the tag reader. So it's up to you. You don't always have to have the keypad. You can just have the panel and just the sensors that you need itself. Right. Moving along, the back section itself of it, is it going to open? Open. Open. There we go. It's opening. Ha. All right. Back section itself of it. This is normal PowerPoint, guys. These things happen. There are some videos on this. I apologize, it might get stuck. We all know how this works. We're trying our best. Yeah, but anyway, let's hope that PowerPoint starts fixing those type of issues. But anyway, so moving along, where's the little mouse? So you have an on-off button there. Very importantly, when you get the device, switch it on. And underneath it, there's a little plug there. That plug allows us to put in that power supply plug. It's like two little pins. I don't know what you call that connection, but anyway, the old radios used to use it and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, it's a very nice, easy to use plug, and it goes down this device, and then obviously it's got a 2-point plug that you plug in anywhere you would like. Right next to it, you have your network connection, normal RJ45 connection, and then also we have 2 SIM slots. So you can use whatever company or SIM card that you can use in that. We have our tamper switch that's there, and then also we have our reset button. We have our communication, so for normal comms itself. So whether you're using FSK, RDC, whatever radio that you are using, you'll plug in the serial cable, right? So very straightforward, very easy. As you can see, also there's the backboard. So that will you'll mount in the cupboard or against the wall, wherever you want to mount it, and then it just slides onto it very easy. And at the bottom, there's 2 screws, so you can tighten it. Okay, moving on. So let's have a look at this little video. Oh, it's not a video. Would you look at that? Huh, I thought it was a video. Look at that. Anyway, so we have the L or the M model itself. So the normal AX Pro. Then we have the AX Pro M2. These are the bigger models. This allows us to be able to do quite a bit more. The battery lifespan a bit on it as well has been exceeded. So quite a big differences between those two. All right. So just to showcase that a bit more, inside it, it has a very big battery. Again, it's a lead acid battery compared to the lithium ion. That gives us 12 hours. This gives us up to 36 hours. So seeing that it is a wireless device, it has that capability of using the battery itself, but still wireless for longer lifespan, especially for shipping containers that's on mountains, and it takes you more than 24 hours to get to that site if there's no power. So that's ideal, as well as the other bigger model. So just to show the differences between those two itself. So as you can see, there's the battery life, and then obviously you are limited on this model itself only to 96 wireless inputs and outputs. And then obviously on this one, you have a bit more. So it gives us a better capability of also using wired, not just wireless. All right, so it makes life a little bit easier. Then moving on, just to showcase that a bit more of the differences between the two, just to give you a bit more of an idea. So there's 2 power channels on it itself. You have 2 outputs as well, your 16 inputs of wired. So that makes it a bit easier for any existing system that is there. And then also we have our normal system itself. It's up to 12 hours. So you can see those differences. So it depends on where you would like. So obviously warehouse, malls, shopping centers, hotels, and so on, you carry on. So from a normal house itself, normal sections, you can select how you want to take it for your project up. Right. Moving on, just to explain a bit more about what is the vast amount that we can use. So as you can see, we can use normal wireless detectors or outputs. So if you wanted to, you can have 96 of these outputs itself, which is these ones. Again, I'm pointing at my screen instead of that screen. So my apologies. Right. So 96 of these that you can connect up. So for home automation or something like that, perfect idea. All right. We have multiple different keypads or tags that we can use. Key fobs, there's quite a lot that you can use on the system. Tags itself, we can pull over 5,000 logs from the device itself. We have our different, where is it? There we go. You have your admin, you have your installer on ProConnect, and you have up to 46 different users that can use this. All right. So very nice, very easy. All right. Then we're going to discuss part 2, highlighting it. So very nice. Okay. So easy to use. It is obviously reliable product. You can have your footage, home automation itself on it, fire prevention. So you can use the Heat Pro cameras as well. So there's a lot in the smoke detector. So there's a lot more that you can do. So just to go through that itself. So obviously easy installation, easy setup, because you just scan QR codes. It's really, really easy. Very similar to the solar that we discussed yesterday. Makes life a lot easier. And then obviously easy to manage as well. Right. Moving along. From a SIM card point of view. There we go. All right. So whether you're using FSK radios, whatever, you can provide a LAN connection, physical LAN cable. So let's say that LAN cable is connected to your telecom internet. Right. Then you have your Wi-Fi. Let's say your Wi-Fi in your house can also be linked to that, but your Wi-Fi is connected to RAIN. So you've got 2 providers that's communicating to that. Then we can go and we can say, okay, let's connect up a radio transmitter to a base station, which is it. Whether you use FSK, RSC, or whatever the case is that you're using, you can use it. So it will transmit. Then we can even go one step further. We can insert 2 different SIM cards, maybe Vodacom and NTN. So when you press your panic, it will send a signal over the LAN internet. It will send a signal over the Wi-Fi. It will send it through the contact ID over the radio for transmission. It will send it over the 2 SIM cards. So you've got quite a lot of communication that can go through if you need be, so you don't, if one fails, you have a backup. Listen, we do live in South Africa. These things happen. Anyhow, all right. I hope that makes some sense. Right. Again, that communication between the wireless devices and the alarm panel, that communication is on the 868 megahertz frequency. So no interference, no third-party remotes interfering with it. And I look like I am, yeah, the internet is a bit crazy. Sorry. Is the sound still fine? Right? Yeah, looks like the sound is fine. Hope you guys can hear me. Oh, there goes the laptop. Sorry. Yeah. Let's see if I can move on. All right, internet connection. I think it could be maybe the PPT that's doing that. I think it is the PPT that was doing that. Let's hope so. All right. So obviously, as you can see, it can communicate to an ARC, to your mobile phone, to any other remote location program operator that you would like to. So it depends on you. I'm going to move along before this thing starts crashing. Right, so normal PIRs, you have that communication under our TRIX wireless protocol, and then our CAM-X wireless protocol. So it's up to you which option do you select or what devices you're going for, but that's the different ways of communication. So under that dual RF chip design frequency, we're going to look at the bandwidth and the distance of that bandwidth. Right. So first of all, normal communication, let's look at how far we can transmit that signal. That signal can go up to all the way to 2,000 meters. 2,000 meters, right? So that's for any normal contact, like a door contact or normal PIR. Right, then on our CAM communication, this is our communication on CAM, up to 800 meters of communication. So that is not just from the panel, but also from the radiotrons of the repeater itself for the specific model. Right, so if the CAM picks up somebody in its motion, it will make that little snapshot, it will go into alarm, it will do that motion capture and send it through to your phone. You cannot link this CAM PIR or PIR CAM to an NVR. It's not the same type of camera. This just takes a little snapshot. All right, so you can't link it. So if you were asking. Okay, next up, obviously, as we discussed as well in the past, and we discussed it yesterday as well, you can take this to the cloud, and then you can add your cameras as well for your live video feed itself. So you can have also an outdoor detector linked to a PIR cam, not a PIR, I mean, to a IPC cam itself, so a normal cam, and you can transmit it back towards the alarm panel. So once the sensor picks up something, it will send you a video feed through. Right. We can have up to 4 cameras linked itself to this specific protocol. All right. So we have that capability of adding that as well. Okay, next up is just the normal solution itself, just to see where the Heat Pro might come into play. So the Heat Pro is very nice because it's fire prevention. Obviously, there's a lot of VCA functions on that. So we can have that capability of interacted with our device on the AX Pro. So that makes a lot easier for any intrusion like AccuSense or line crossings itself. Right. So this is a much better solution. So a lot of people will use outdoor detectors and they've got very big puppies. So whether they're Labradors or Alsatians or whatever the case is, you can set the sensitivity not to pick up the puppy, right? But when the guy crawls on the floor, it's also not going to pick him up because it's going to think it's the puppy. So when you put up a network AccuSense camera or a thermo camera, where it's the Heat Pro, then you have that capability of using that analytic as an alarm itself. So to ensure that you don't have false alarms, to make sure that if it's really a human being, you'll get that notifications. If you are one of those companies that are having issues with line crossings and say that we have a lot of false alarms on AccuSense, recommendation is please to have a look at our AccuSense training session that we have very soon as well, because a lot of companies are still making mistakes. There's distances that you need to set it up for. Your lines can't just be all of a sudden next to the screen. Let me show you like next to it. You don't all of a sudden appear. So you need to keep a space away from that area. So the camera needs to see the person entering the field of view, then crossing the line, and then it goes into alarm. So yes, if you put the line, let me go do this. If you put the line right here, if you can see my little webcam there, if you put the line right here and you all of a sudden appear, yes, it will false alarm. It will not false alarm, but it will send you notification, but it will also cause you false alarm. But if you go and keep a space open where your line is from the field of view and you enter the field of view and you cross it, then it will go into notification, but you won't have false alarm issues. All right. Anyway, going off the path there, let's move along. Very nice for home automation. You can connect up your air cons, your heaters, any of your lights in your house. You can connect up your garage door, your gate motor, your water heater, whatever, your jacuzzi. I think it's best to use it for your jacuzzi. That's my personal preference. If you do have a jacuzzi, please invite me and my wife. Yeah. Anyway, joking. My wife will kill me. No. Right. So we also have temperature sensors. They are perfect for certain environments like server boxes or server cabinets. So for server room, maybe, so you can regulate the temperature in that environment. We also have the smoke detectors, which are perfect as well for that same environment, and also the water leak detector. Some of those server rooms have air cons built into it, and sometimes they leak water from the air con, and you obviously want to know before it starts damaging anything inside there. Right. Push. This is a very long PPT. All right, so moving along on the PIR cam, let's quickly just have a few discussions regarding that. So very nice little model, easy to use. Open it up, you have the infrared light on the top, the cam, and you have the alarm sensor underneath it. When you open it up, you have a tamper switch, power button, and you have the easy charge batteries that's inside that unit. So those batteries it's not actually rechargeable. They're just batteries that last very long. They're easy to work with. Anyway, right, moving along on that one. So again, as we all know, the transmission is 800 meters to a alarm panel or a repeater. We have a 6-year battery life on that specific model. And also it detects up to 12 meters, different degree angle itself that you can see, and also 30 kgs and above it will start detecting. So a little bit of pet friendly, but obviously we all know if a pet starts jumping up a couch or onto a table, that 30 kgs, the cat might be 10 kgs, it's going to be a very big cat. But anyway, I'm sure you understand what I mean. If the cat starts jumping onto the table, it breaks the following lines of the PIR itself. I'm pointing at the screen, my bad guys. So imagine these lines. So we have a special course for this type of stuff to actually understand how these sensors work, not just ours, the general technology of how PIRs work. But anyway, so if the cat jumps up, it will break the first line of the sensor, which will be 10 kgs. The next one, 10 kgs, again 10 kgs. So that will add up to 30 kgs. That's why you can't put any PIRs to a staircase, because it's vertical. It will cause false alarms, right? But a PIR will cause alarms and false alarms, but a AccuSense or a Heat Pro camera, if you said it right, you won't have any headaches. Okay, moving along. You guys asked for it, you got it. A new keypad, right? So it's an LCD keypad. It's got a little screen on it. So no longer like the previous one that you guys are used to that had nothing. You can still get that, but this one allows us now to see what zones, what partitions, what areas, etc., etc. Next nice thing is our wireless intercom sound itself. So this is a normal indoor siren, but we have the capability of using it as an intercom with an ARC. So which means that if the alarm is going off and the old lady is there, whatever the case is, you can basically talk to them, gives you that capability. So it's a very nice feature. Also, the panic buttons, we have gone through that. There's a second generation out on them. There's some things that's been updated, so much better technology as well. And then moving along, we obviously discussed as well as our smoke detector. We also have discussed our water leak detector that's got two functionalities. One is to throw it into the cupboard, and then it will detect water itself when there's a leak. The other one, there's a little cable that connects onto it. I think it's at the bottom here. A little cable that connects into it. That little cable is quite long. That cable is, as an example, let's say you have a JoJo tank and you have water in it. You can drill a hole, put that cable through, seal it up so it doesn't leak, obviously. So once the water level has dropped past that point, it will send you an alert to say that there's a leak. So two functionalities. All right. And then obviously our temperature sensor, you can set the temperature that you want before it will send you an alert, whether it's higher or lower, depends on what your needs are. And then also we have the different new smoke detector itself. We also have that heat detector and then the gas leak detector itself. All right, very nice functionalities. Then on the smoke detector, very nice new feature, they can be linked with one another. So if the one detects smoke and you've got like 20 in your house, then all 20 are going to make a noise. As you can see in this picture here. Right. It's got a little button on it as well, so for testing purposes, so you don't have to take your loose and light it and smoke there by the sensor. I can also tell you that we have a smoke detector that's IP based with its own built-in lithium-ion battery that lasts freakingly long, right? And it's got a built-in fish eye cam as well in it. So just amazing product. It's under our fire detection line. I am busy working with a fire detection wireless that we call our LoRa system. LoRa, she's pretty. She's got antennas for Wi-Fi. So yeah, anyway, I'm going off the wagon. We'll discuss that. Anyway, so obviously the wireless detectors itself. So the nice thing about this following door contact, you got 2 channels. So on it itself, inside the little box, you'll find a little short little cable fly lead that you can plug in at the back of this specific device and then change it from a door contact to a wireless transmitter. So this will allow us to transmit to the receiving of the panel itself. So the nice thing is it will show you a common zone 1, zone 2. It's not actual the zone 1 and zone 2. It's just for that specific model itself. So it will add it to whatever protocol you need it for. All right. And then obviously, as well as the slim one, yeah, 3 years battery life on it. That's pretty impressive. And it's actually very small, sexy, lightweight. So it's not like a normal door contact will just keep on falling down. This is really easy to use as well. Okay. Then on the siren, indoor and outdoor, we have obviously the indoor as we discussed, and then we have outdoor. We've got different colors, so you can choose. If you want a red one, if you want a blue one, and I'm telling you that's orange. Okay, if you want an orange one, you can have it. Depends on what your needs are. Also, take note that you have a charger as well, a battery, not a battery, I mean a power cable itself, 12 volt of an input. So to provide power itself, so you have that power. If in the event that there's no power, the battery will kick in. It's a 5-year battery lifespan on that unit itself. And then it runs at 110 decibels. So with the rules and regulations of South Africa, your normal 15-watt siren that a lot of you might be used to runs at 109 decibels. So yes, we just tweaked it a little bit more. So this is more for normal residential areas. If you go towards a 30-watt siren, which is outdoors for industrial use, that will be a 30-watt siren is at 129 decibels, if I'm not mistaken. The nice thing about our sirens are we can, where is it now? Let me just see it. There. We can adjust the volume. So if grandpa is complaining that it's too loud, you can adjust the volume for grandpa, right, for that specific area where he sleeps. All right, you need to wake up. The alarm is there for a reason. Anyway, if you got false alarms, then you don't have the right setup. Yeah. Okay, moving along from the repeater. So the nice thing about this repeater is, unlike other products, you need to put up the repeater, maybe run a 6-core cable all the way to the panel. It's very far there at the back, far away, right? With ours, you don't need that. We transmit with that communication up to 1,600 meters away. So that makes life a lot easier. So there's no cable between the alarm panel and the repeater. There's no cable, it communicates wirelessly, right? Got its own built-in battery up to 35 hours itself. So there's no need for you to be able to go and put up a separate power pack with its own battery and connect it up. This thing's got its own thing. So you're not using 2 separate products. Normally you use the expander and a power pack. Now you don't need to do that. It's one single repeater. All right. But again, at distance, you don't always need that kind of repeater, but sometimes you might. It supports up to 4 repeaters on one panel. So 4 repeaters, I think you should be covered. Right. So again, just to communicate with that repeater, as you can see in the picture here, the communication is there. So again, we can extend that. So you can obviously imagine the extension of how far we can communicate. Again, from the alarm panel, you can see the communication. So as you can see in the picture, you have the communication with the normal PIR cams, your keypads, your panic buttons, your sensors. let's say this PIR, the siren and those type of stuff is further away and you need to put a repeater in, then it will look like this. Where's the mouse? There we go. You'll put the repeater in, it will communicate to that repeater and then communicate to the rest of the devices. If you need to extend it even more, like I said, you can add another repeater. So then what you do is you go and add another repeater in between there, and all those things will communicate to that repeater. That repeater will communicate there, and so it will carry on. Right, straightforward, easy to understand. I'm sure of it. Okay. So there we go. Right. Next up is obviously on the keypad and the key fob. So I don't have to explain too much about it. You have those different buttons. You can go and change the settings as well. We'll go through that on the operation side a bit more, but all that functionalities are there. You have your fire, your panic, your arming, you have your staying at the house, leaving the house, disarming. And somebody that asked me, I'm not even kidding you. Somebody that asked me this question. I get to the keypad and I press disarm, but it keeps on asking for a code. Yeah, it's supposed to ask you for a code because at the end of the day, you don't want the guy, let's call him Jimmy, breaks into your house, goes to your keypad and presses disarm. But that's why there's a code. Stop it. Ugh, I don't know. All right, anyway. So from that wireless detector, like I mentioned earlier, it's got that little feature there to have that 2 channels. So very easy. So if you have aftermarket black beams, those point-to-point beams that we all dislike so much in our new technology and our new way of life, because any intruder can crawl underneath it or walk, jump across it, and it's pointless. Some places, there are places where this actually works, but in general use, yeah, anyway. Then we also have maybe a little PIR or outdoor detector for a specific area. You already bought it, you just paid for it now, but you want to make it wireless. You have that capability because you have 2 channels at the same time, same area. All right, moving along. Then we have our, best way I can say it, like a butterfly beam. So it basically covers up to a 5-degree angle. So left and right, it's got anti-masking on it. It's got obviously your pet friendly. It's got a 5-year lifespan on the battery. It's just a wonderful product, especially for window lines and stuff like that. Perfect to be able to use. All right. So there are certain areas where this will come into play. Right, these devices are IP rated. So, again, against the wall, so it can be detected one single area as well. So you don't have to do both areas. So as you can see in the picture there. And then obviously the next one is obviously wherever you would like to put it, if you would like to face it down to a specific area, ceiling mount. So not just wall mount, but also ceiling mount. Then we can also change the direction as well for whichever direction that we need to look at, which is that one. I keep on showing on the other screen. There we go. Right. So moving on. There we go. Come on. Ha. If somebody goes and sprays it or tries and covers it, the anti-masking is there to help you. And also we have that pet immune as well on it. Okay. So there's the little sensor, the dog crosses over, the human being crosses over, it goes into your alarm. Okay. Come on. Okay. There's a heavy, but a little bit of lagging. Okay. Anyway, my apologies again. So on the outdoor detector itself, so very nice little unit. It's got 2 built-in sensors, microwave, anti-masking. You've got all the nice little features. You can adjust the sensitivity, etc., etc. Nice thing about this is you can go and have a PR cam slot onto it. If you don't want to put the PR cam on the top, you want it maybe at the bottom, you can also slide it into the bottom. Depends on where you want to put it. Once you're on the mobile app, you'll see this outdoor detector. Once you've loaded it, at the bottom of its name, it will say add PIR cam. So then you add it, then you have the cam. So when the outdoor detector picks up something, the PIR cam will take snapshots and send it to your phone. Again, we cannot link this PIR cam, which is this part here, that part, we cannot link that to an NVR. No, it's a complete different language barrier or signal of communication over network. Right, moving on. Okay, again, outdoor detector, very nice. You have the top, the bottom, everything built into one. Then we also have that degree angle that you can change to cover it. Makes it a bit easier, so to adjust it. We also have different height settings for different areas of level of soil. So some have a little bit of an incline, some have a little bit of a downhill. So it depends on where you would like to set that. Okay. We also again have that anti-masking, and then also we have that selective masking area. So there's a specific area you want to mask out. Maybe it's the washing line, because it's a common issue. The guys will go and put up the sensor. They know the washing line is there, yet they will still put it and they don't mask that washing line. And then the control room keeps on getting false alarms. The arm response keeps on going up. So now the client is upset because the arm response keeps on going up with the false alarm. The arm response is upset because they keep on going to the same house. They are upset with the control room. The control room is upset with the technical guys. The technical guys are just doing a lot of work, but they don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, it's a little loophole. Anyway, these things happen. Moving on. I'm going to get in trouble by somebody sooner or later. All right. So again, if somebody picks up somebody, it will take that snapshot and send it through to you. Right. Next one is obviously that wireless sensor. We also have a 16-zone input transmitter as well. So what this basically means is a little board. Okay, I'm going to move to the next slide. Let's hope that's a bit better. Not really. Okay, let's go back. Nope, didn't work. Okay, let's keep it like that. I don't like the movements because at the end of the day, that creates a bit more lag. So you have that signal transmitter that I discussed earlier. So you can take any other product and you can connect it up wired into that device and it will transmit wirelessly. Then we have this box. This box has a PC board. That PC board has 16 zones on it. So you can take any wired system, that's 16 zone, connect up all the wires, and it will transmit wirelessly from that box. Where's that box? From that box to the alarm panel, the AX Pro. Right. Straightforward. There we go. Let's go back. Right. Then we have that door contact itself. As I mentioned earlier as well, you have the 2 zones on that. So you can use maybe this one for, and again, when you load this contact, you can load this contact as zone 5 as example. So where's my, oh, come on, I cannot write on this, can I? Let me see. No, I can't. Anyway, so there's the little wires I wanted to show you, but anyway, so on that itself, let me go back. Okay, it's not making any movements. All right, so from there, you'll take those 2 wires. It's actually 3. So one is common, but both zones are using that common. You'll connect up that break glass detector to the one and the door contact to the other one. And it will transmit wirelessly to the panel. So you cover 2 grounds itself. Right, very straightforward. As you can see, it's there in the back of it, plugs in, it goes through. Okay, then we have this little box itself. So if you are a salesperson, if you are a company that sells product to different installers, or even if you're installing company, you go into a client, you can ask for this box. There's the model number. This little suitcase has everything in it. It's got little wheels as well. So you can pull it along with you. It's got all the devices inside that, specially designed nice for any salesperson for marketing and showcasing that. All right, it's a demo box for showcase board as well. All right, so very nice system, very easy. Yeah, for any salesperson, please go for it. It's worth it. Okay, moving on. Under the HIK-Connect app, very straightforward. If you would like to use the app as well, you have the capability of obviously loading it. We'll go through that settings itself. There's so much more that you can do over that, but we're not going to go too far down that. We're going to keep that for the technical operation, but it's very easy. You scan the product, you load it, you are done. You just click on the add button right there. There's the add button there. You click on it, and then you scan the product, you power it on, and you are done. And then you go and select what options do you want for it. You know, do you want it a chime zone? Don't go double knotting. Ignore that. So whatever option that you want for it, you have that capability. Yes, I'm looking at the other screen. Okay. All right, part 3, just to show that different connections. All right, let's wait for that PPT to warm up a little bit because it's a little bit laggy. Right, so you can use it DIY yourself and use the HIK-Connect app, or you can go to number 2, option 2, where it can be going to a monitoring company or to HIK-Central. So you have the capability. If you are a monitoring company and you are saying, listen, I'm no longer getting certain notifications through the HIK-Connect itself, especially on the IVMS. If you are running IVMS and on your device manager, you have certain clients that you've added into the system that's using HIK-Connect information, yeah, it's not going to work. You're not going to get notifications. They unplug that cable, no longer existing. You need HIK-Central for that. All right. So if you want more information, contact your salesperson from your representative of Hikvision. Anyway, moving along. Option number 3, you have your cloud base itself. So cloud base falls under our HIK Pro. HIK Pro. Anyway, right. HIK Pro itself. So HIK Pro is designed for the installers. So instead of taking the client's phone, I'm going to use this as an example. It's my remote for the displays here. Instead of taking the client's phone and walking through the entire house and going to scan and add all the devices, and then he gets a message from his wife, a naughty one, and you looking at it, I don't think that's right. Stop it. Right. So this allows you to take, obviously, I'm going to use this little card. Take your own phone, right? You go and take your phone. You have HIK Pro Connect on it. You scan all the products. So you take all the products, you scan the barcode or the QR code, you load it onto your phone. Once you are done testing, then you send it to the client's phone. Then he has permission over it. All right. So that's what it was designed for. That is what it is for. So the HIK Connect is for the client, and the HIK Pro Connect is for the installer. All right, good. Then option number 4, take it to FSK or Listener or an ARC, whichever your preference is for your specific company, RDC, it depends on you. Right. So you have easy one-tap arming. You have your little snapshots and videos that you can take itself that comes to your phone from the alarm panel. Yeah, you can check the history, check events, see what's happening. Yeah, it just helps a lot, man. Really helps a lot. Okay, moving on. Obviously, this can be connected to any on-response company, like we said. So it gives them that capability as well, pulling that information. So like I show in the picture here, you have the end user, which is on your left-hand side. That will be the HIK-Connect itself. That's the client. All right. The people who live in the house, not you. The people that live in the house or the business that work at the business, the manager. Then you have the installer or the ARC company that will use the Pro Connect. Okay. So this is just to showcase that little cloud solution of an installing point of view. Then the next one is on the HIK-Connect. If you are not familiar with the HIK-Connect, there are videos on our YouTube channel about the HIK-Connect Pro Connect itself for the installers to give you a guide. There's incentive as well on it. There's license fees that you can get for free, etc., etc. You can do health monitoring. Sorry, no water. Yeah, next time I'll bring water for us. Anyway, health monitoring, remote configuration, all that is to your fingertip. So if a client is saying that, listen, I want that eye in the spare bedroom to be disabled because unfortunately my mother-in-law is coming to visit. Let's hope she doesn't stay. Then you need to maybe change that under his normal arming to sleep arm. So this will give you that functionality of having that control to be able to help the client without seeing what's going on or arming or disarming his alarm. On there as well is on the HIK Pro Connect itself on the app, you'll see that there's a e-partner. If you want to become an e-partner, please go through that process as well. For any business, this is also a very good thing to show that you do have a partnership with Hikvision, and we approve you because your company is using the correct equipment, your company is using our equipment, your company is have the technicians trained and certified by us, then you'll become an e-partner. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Moving on from the next one. Did I showcase that? I did. All right. Okay. We'll move on. Anyway, so whether you're using RDC, FSK, listener, watch manager, depends on whatever the case is. So it gives you that protocol. There's a little video. I'm not going to show the video because I don't want this PPT to crash on me. So we're going to ignore the video, but it just shows that all that is linked to a radio. Next one as well from FSK, it's also linked. There's a serial cable. You can get the serial cable from FSK. You can get it from all our suppliers. You also can get it from Hikvision. That cable is available, right? So it's there. All right. Moving on. Again, from RDC, there's different ways that we can test this from our base station. Make sure that everything communicates and we have everything is working. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. All right. Different scenarios of where you would install this. This is very straightforward. It depends on your location of your house or your business or your factory, however you would like to put that. All right. Next up also is if you want multiple different locations, you can have those multiple different locations to be able to communicate with one another and then have multiple different panic buttons. So if it's a little small area where a lot of old age people live, then you can have up to 96 panic buttons because you don't need all the other, accessory stuff just for the panics. Okay. That will all go through to the HIK Connect app, and then the client will receive the messages and also the monitoring company will receive it. Right. Part 4. This is a lot. We're almost done. We're at the end. Hold on, guys. Okay. Very nice to use is our Android tablet. It's got the HIK Connect app already installed. The client just needs to log onto it. The client can see his intercom, his cameras. You can have up to 16 cameras loaded onto this without having an NVR, by the way. Interesting. Obviously, on your HIK Connect, if you've already added your NVR onto your HIK Connect, it will display whatever is on your HIK Connect app. So anything that's on your HIK Connect app will display on this. It's a very nice touchscreen, got built-in Android, and you can install multiple different apps on it, or not multiple, but actually 2 for the specific model. And then on those apps, you can have one maybe for your solar system or your water irrigation system, your electric. Anyway, you can also have Uber Eats on it. You can have Pick and Pay on the go. You can have that 6060 app. Order food. It's nice. Don't put your information because your children will abuse it. Okay. And yes, little one, I'm talking about you. It's like, what did you have for lunch? No, don't worry, Dad. I got Mr. D. Really? Just like that. Like, just order food. And ding, ding, you get the message. Oh, great stuff. Anyway, okay. So all those things can be interlinked with one system on that Android tablet. Very easy. The entire home automation system can work for it. So, yeah. All right. That is our HIK Pro wireless solution product for alarm. So thank you very much. And after this will be the Q&A. Thank you for joining, and I'll end the video here, and then the rest of you stay behind for the Q&A if there's any questions you would like to ask. Right, see the rest of you next week.